Hello and welcome to Business English Paris. Today, the word of the day is job interview. And this is a word that I covered on the blog about 2 weeks ago when I first started. And in my experience, I've had quite a few students who have had job interviews during the time that we were working together, and always, without fail, they have been very nervous because they never think their English level is good enough. And these days in Paris, most employers almost require English proficiency. So my students are always very nervous, and so my my job has always been to assure them that their level of English is just fine, that they can do it, and I actually think that's the first key thing that you have to remember as a person who is not a native English speaker, but who's increasingly living in an English speaking world, is that you've got to be confident in yourself, in your level, even if your level is not so fabulous, actually. Because I think that, you don't want to be ridiculous, obviously. you should know your limitations, but you should also be assured that 9 times out of 10, it's not as bad as you think it is. Okay? That being said, I do think it's very important to work on it and to do so well ahead of time of your interview, because you're not a magician, and neither is your English teacher. So you have to give the process time. You have to give yourself time to be prepared. And that is going to mean that if you anticipate you'll be looking for a new job, it is imperative, in my view, that you begin to take your English lessons um, ahead of time. And when I say ahead of time, perhaps even 3 months or more before the interview, because you do need time to build proficiency, to build confidence, and to be credible, really. Okay. One of the other things I think that a lot of students should do when they are faced with an interview in English is to brush up on verbs, like verbs that explain your proficiency, or your skills, or your capabilities, like analyze, negotiate, researched, handled, managed, created, those kinds of action verbs that are work related and that go to your skill set, I think are very important during an interview. And so you should definitely brush up on those verbs and know what they mean, and know how to use them in a sentence to describe yourself convincingly and with confidence and credibility, right? Um, you also should be able to talk about your skill sets in a way that is clear and that is credible and authentic. If you have great managerial skills, great research skills, great legal skills, great interpersonal and people skills, whatever your skill sets are, you should be able to use the terminology like skill sets and managerial skills, putting those together and really talking about it in a way that the potential employer can understand and appreciate. Um, so I think that's it for this particular video. It's not a particularly long video. The main thrust of this video really is to say that without proper preparation, and specific to your job and specific to your domain and specific to whatever objectives you have in that regard, you will be nervous. So you can't sort of call your English teacher 1 week before a big interview when your level of English is an A2 or something like that, and expect to go from that to a C1, even if you pay €1,000 and you study 24 hours a day, it's not possible. Learning a language has taken all of us in our own native languages a lifetime. I'm still learning English. I mean, there were many words that I've never seen in my life, and many that I will never see till the day I die. And whatever your language is, it's the same. None of us ever knows our own languages completely. We started to learn our languages from the day we were born, and we continue till the day we die. And if that's true in your own language, imagine what's true in another language, And so you cannot learn it in 2 days or in 2 weeks or 2 months or even 2 years. You have to put the commitment in. And if we're talking about a job interview where English is important and you have to demonstrate your proficiency and your ease in English, you definitely want to start as early as possible in the process um, to prepare, right? Because preparation is key, and preparation is going to make the difference between you going in there and being nervous and not being confident and potentially not getting the job when you're totally qualified for the job, and you actually being confident and going in there and knocking their pants off and getting the job. So that's it for this particular video. Again, if I haven't said so before, or if this is your first, if this is the first time that you are watching one of my videos, I do work with business professionals all over the world, telephonically or face to face, depending on where you are geographically. And I would be happy, it would be my pleasure and privilege to work with you as your business English coach. You are welcome to contact me by email, or you can check my Instagram page, which is more than likely to have contact details, or my blog, which is businessenglishparis.blogspot.com. And I would be happy to speak with you and see how we can arrange to have some lessons with you, okay? Or some coaching sessions. I don't like to say lessons. I don't like to think of myself as a teacher. I like to think of myself more as a collaborator, a coach, a fellow colleague, because a lot of times my students are very experienced business people. They're experts in their fields, and they are the experts teaching me, actually, and I'm just sort of listening to their English and trying to coach them along rather than teaching them anything. I don't feel like I'm so much of a teacher as I am a collaborator. So that being said, it was my pleasure to spend this time with you and to create this video for you. And see you in the next one. Have a great day.